So, guess what? We're going to continue reading from my book, Zippers. We're still in chapter 14. This is part B. All right, let's just get right into it because we only got 10 minutes, folks. That's all TikTok lets us have, unless we go live, and I don't feel like doing that for these, okay? All right. So, since Zippers often watched television with his friend Jacob long before he could even utter his viewing preferences, he now was able to tell the group who he preferred. You know, he's talking about who he would prefer being interviewed as the world's first talking cat. Aside from the politics, he was a Conan geek. "Let me go on the air with him," said Zippers to Jacob, Pepper, and Herschel one Monday morning while they were getting ready to make another desperate attempt at national exposure and acceptance. "He'll get this. He'll get us. I would say the letter we got from his publicity department is more encouraging than the others too," said Herschel. "I mean, the others seem to see this as purely entertainment. I mean, sweet gems, I know they wouldn't show us or our little fluffball any disrespect, but Conan's people, as funny and quirky as the man is, were the only ones who made it clear they respected the seriousness of all this." "Yeah," said Jacob. "When things like 9/11 happened, he was so good, so classy. He just said the right words, you know? That talk about being in that cathedral." Jacob's voice drifted. He was starting to feel the depths of what he and the others were going to be putting his little sensitive cat through. The publicity of this groundbreaking front page news would be much more stressful on him than any afternoon visits Coco received from celebrities like Sting and Leonardo DiCaprio. Zippers was gradually becoming the spokescat for all the animals on the planet. And whether he liked it or not, he was slowly becoming a target. From those who wished him love and respect, and from those who wished him hatred and harm. And truth be known, both Jacob and Pepper knew, even though they were aware how big his heart was in intent, he was still quite small in physicality. The night of the interview, Jacob paced nervously in the studio's green room. Zippers was scheduled to be the second interviewee for the hour-long late-night talk show, and the wait only added to Jacob's uneasiness. Yeah, don't want to glare. They were only a few miles away from their own home. From the small monitor, they heard Andy Richter's familiar opening. "Coming to you from Warner Brothers Studios in Burbank, it's Conan!" "Relax, Jacob," spoke Zippers as he sat on one of the leather couches. "Everything's going to be all right. It's Conan." And Zippers strangely tried to give a thumbs up. After the monologue, some comedy bits, and the first celebrity interview, it was during the commercial break prior to Zippers' entrance when Jacob started shaking. "Jacob," Zippers half meowed, half said in concern. You okay, buddy? This isn't just phoning in with the 11th hour to answer phone calls. You're supposed to be entertaining. They're planning on having Triumph, the insult comic dog, call in with no prior rehearsals. You don't even know how to ad-lib. Zippers let out a minuscule sigh. "Oh, you have little comic faith. I'm not worried about that one single bit. For one thing, Triumph is all about the insults. Even if I'm as unfunny as a can of generic cat food, the insults are what keep the audience entertained. And for another, I have been studying comics for years from your telly. I've been wanting to exchange barbs with you, Jacob, ever since I understood English from Monty Python." The volume from their green room monitor slowly increased. "My next guest is not one you might expect on a nighttime talk show. He's not even someone you'd expect to set on any type of show on television at all. That's because he's an animal. Now, I know what you must be thinking. All males are animals. Audience laughter. Well, this male is not a human. He's a cat. And by now, I'm pretty sure you know who I'm referring to if you're on this planet and you've been listening to the news for the past several weeks. That's right, folks. For this, his first solo interview, we have with us tonight Zippers, who lives right here in Burbank. He doesn't need a leash or his human companion to find us because he's listening to me right now, just waiting for me to ask him to join us. Will you welcome, ladies and gentlemen, on his premiere debut in front of a live studio audience, our new friend and neighbor, Zippers. Conan stood from behind his desk as little Zippers trotted out on stage and leapt up onto the chair Andy Richter gave up for him. He held his head proudly high the entire time, causing the audience to swoon with awes and enchanted sighs, while the applause increased like none other on the show's 8-year run. Zipper's little head darted left and darted right as he waited for the roisterous cheers to end. All right, that's enough. My God, you sound like you're reacting to a viral kitten video on Facebook, Conan declared as he flipped his necktie, returning to his seat. Actually, you are reacting to a cute viral kitten, aren't you? His eyes rolled, then turned to Zippers, who waited patiently, now sitting, looking quite at ease, much to Jacob's relief, who was still viewing the show from the backroom monitor. Good Lord, Conan had continued. They're going to give our PETA-loving relatives more ammunition come Thanksgiving dinner time. Zippers, and can I say give me a 5? I've never counted a cat's fingers before. Do you even have 5? Sure, Conan. Zippers raised his right paw up high, and Conan's tall frame leaned across from his desk to tap it with his index finger. The boom microphone operator strained to reach Zipper's short stature as he spoke. The audience erupted in another round of awes as the two slapped their 5s. And I can eat turkey too, added Zippers. So if your relatives give you guff about the bird, it wasn't me who started it. The audience chuckled somewhat nervously, witnessing the spectacle live. Grain-free, Zippers, yes or no? Always, but range-free. Have a heart. Okay, duly noted, Conan said as he scribbled an imaginary note upon his desk. Much of the studio audience was on the edge of their seats. The videos of both Zippers and Coco were the only exposure they had up until now. Because many remained skeptical, they just wanted to see how somebody could pull off a trick like this, fooling the populace. The entire populace. These doubting Thomases wanted to catch or be treated to the Wizard of Oz behind the successful curtain. Perhaps Brian Williams would arrive along with Dr. Patterson and explain it all as a big giant hoax on the comedy program, not being allowed to deceive the public any longer. And perhaps it did have something to do with animal rights and a perceived need to bring those rights to the forefront of the nation's, the world's conscience, if even through a joke. But for the believers, who were actually in a slim majority, they simply wanted to see and hear this amazing cat. These people were convinced something wonderful and strange was happening here on Earth. People from all over the world were going to witness this marvelous and yet strange phenomenon. And it would all be on a popular late-night talk show comedy program. So, Zippers, I can call you by your first name, I take it. Do you even have a last name? Some people give their pets, and someday maybe we can discuss this concept of pets ownership. You know, ownership, who's a pet to whom, and so on. Some people give their dogs and cats, for example, their own last names. My friend Jacob never did that. I'm fine with one name. I'm up there with Cher, Madonna, and Sting. And it's not like they let me keep in touch with my siblings. If they did, maybe we'd have something akin to our own genealogies. I gotta close there because my 10 minutes is up. I'll put the GullerudBooks.com to buy, where you can buy ebook hard